time, so. Wait. All right, I have to.
Let's go sit at that desk, okay, Max?
All right.
I'll put the graphic quiz there right now, so I remember. Good, I gotta go get it. I should put it all at once.
He put it on his calculator at one time.
Order of operations.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Girls up there. What are you looking for? Gentlemen commentators were giving you a hard time, man.
You were?
It said you were shooting too much. That's, you're just open on those breaks, a couple of them.
Yeah. I'll be happy to say.
What? Means everyone could participate.
Mr. Howard looked at his whole class habits, extension classes. For all the class. And so had Mr. Long.
What do you say that non-student?
Perfect. It's on your board. A lot of pressure on you if you are perfect. Yeah, so that- It's not the answer. I don't know, it just couldn't fit on the slide, so. Let's say the marginal benefit of installing streetlights is less than the marginal cost. That would be a good one. That would be fine, Ashton. Is that your answer?
Yes.
Okay. Sure.
Yeah.
What do we got? I got some broccoli, I got an alpha, I got alpha and broccoli. We got a dead heat between alpha and broccoli. All right. What did you have, Roy? Could you explain to me how streetlights generate a negative externality?
maybe like. It could interest somebody else's like, illogical. Ouch, maybe.
All right, now, if they had a negative externality, would the residents prefer to have them installed?
No.
No, that's the residents preferring to have them installed is what I think knocks that in. B is the answer, because why am I gonna put up a street light and pay for it for myself when all of you could benefit? And I can't get you to pay no matter what. So why things become public goods are usually they're non-excludable and they have a lot of free riding. Okay, so Corey could free ride off it. He's not gonna put up a street light, I did. He's not gonna pay me because he doesn't have to. Okay? All right, let's remember when the Holy Presence started and then dear God, thank you for everything that you've given us. Please let us be mindful and help those that don't have everything we have. St. John the Baptist to the south. Live Jesus in our heart. Okay. All right, so we're starting macro today. We'll just get a quick first day, little taste of macro. Okay. Let me just say, I looked at the externalities test from last year and the kids did very well. On a whole. You have to know the graphs. There's a lot of questions on there that if you just, like a negative externality, is the market bigger or smaller? Does the market produce more or less? Well, if you know the graph, you know the market produces more by just looking at the graph. So there's a lot of questions like that. So if you get off to a good start. Here's the thing I'll say. If you don't like how you did last semester, you need to change something. And that doesn't always mean work hard. It could be, I need to understand the concepts more than memorize the concepts. It can mean I'm gonna study 20 minutes a day. It could be a lot, I'm gonna ask more questions. I'm gonna force myself to focus harder. There's a lot of different things, but if you do the same thing, you're probably not gonna get much different result. Okay, so. All I would say is try to do something different. And then don't get down about your grade. Just figure out, how could I learn better? Because if you're a better learner, you're gonna be more successful in life. Because again, we can't predict the future, but if you're a great learner, you're gonna be easy to adapt because you're gonna be able to learn. Now, for those of you who've done well, figure out how you could help someone who's not doing well. Because if you can make that person better, that's a real skill. You guys are probably really good learners already. Now help make someone else a better learner. Encourage someone else, get them better. That's a skill that's rare. There's very few people who have that skill. And someone stopped me in the hall today who I don't even know. I've never seen this kid in my life. And he asked me about that. And I said, well, pick a subject you're good at and see could you make one of your friends who are not good at it better. Okay. And that's it. I probably said this, but that was like, I would say, I didn't come home from a basketball game in my life that I lost when my dad didn't ask what I could do to make players better and win games. And he instilled that and drove that into me. And I played on this New York City All-Star team that I shouldn't have even been on. And I remember the first game I didn't play, and we got into the car and he said, how could have you made people better? I didn't even get on the court. And he just like yelled at me for not getting the water to the bench when I was on the bench, to not be watching like the player, if I was Bradley sub, not watching the player Bradley watched. So I could say to him, oh, the guy always goes left. But he instilled on me that a key thing is to help your teammates. All right, I'm gonna do a review tomorrow before and after school. totally different than I do in the class. Before and after school, I'm gonna go over the key concepts that you need to be successful on the test. In class, I'm gonna do some practice problems. Okay, again, if we want to get off to a good start, I would try to get to the review before or after school. 7:45 to 8:15 or 2:50 to 3:10. It's gonna be about 20 minutes. It's not a ton of material to cover. Again, what's half the test? On what? On externalities, right? It was 14 multiple choice questions on externalities. So you could hone in on that, you'll be really good. Okay, Sunday, I'll do a review more to answer any questions. I'll be here Monday before school. I hang out in the ARC the first 3 periods, usually on Monday. Okay, any questions on the test, anything? All right, if you still need to do a redo or do the quiz for sure on senior retreat, I'll be here after school today. That'll be like the last day I could do it till probably Tuesday, Monday after school or Tuesday. Okay, I'll still give you an opportunity, but. All right. Here's the macro AP exam, unit 1. Good news, Connor. Done. Okay, when was it done? When we did unit 1 in micro. So we're not gonna go over production possibilities curve again. We'll review it before the AP exam. Comparative advantage, scarcity. Unit 2. We'll start today. A little different, a lot of formulas. But you got calculators, and I think that's gonna make it a tad different. Okay, and a little easier. We used to not be able to use calculators. All right, so let's get at it. Quick review, talk to your partner, go.
Macros that large. So micros like it's like a small. Yeah. And macros like the whole entire. Micros like each individual. One's like a fact. Oh yeah. Or like that's like a. It's not. I think positive is like. You know, employment will have more jobs on that. Like a prediction. Yeah, it's like unemployment is gonna hurt the government. Opportunity cost is the biggest trade-off. The most important thing either way. Trade-offs is everything that you get. Yeah, that was right. Shipments and supplies,
Yeah, I know everything. You're vouching for him?
Yeah.
All right, anything you or your partner would want more clarification on anything up there? We're all good on everything? Positive and normative, Ryan?
Positive is like a prediction kind of like not a fact.
You flipped them. Positive is the fact,
Oh, positive.
okay? And normative could be like a judgment or, okay? All right, here we go. Macro, study of the large economy as a whole. Study of the big picture. So in micro, we study the corn industry. Macro, we study all the industries. Micro, we might study a household. Macro, we study unemployment for the whole country. Okay, so it's really the big picture. Now, why study the whole economy? It really started with the Great Depression in 1929. What was Hoover's response to the Great Depression? Hoover was the president. It was what he called rugged individualism. Just suck it up, tough it out, and we'll get through it. Trouble is, that doesn't work. And the trouble was, no one knew what did work. So that's where macroeconomics is born. Now, here are the 2 big things. One, they want to measure the health of the whole economy. Second, and I think probably more important, they want to see the policies work. So they want to measure if we lower taxes, did that really help the economy? And that's something that education struggles with, measuring do policies work? Like, for example, our school changed the finals, right? We used to take them in January, then we moved into Christmas. We could argue, is that good or bad? But no one really knows, and there's no facts to back either argument. That's what economics is trying to do, give you facts so you can make decisions based on positive statements, not normative. Okay? Now, countries all want these 3 economic goals. Just like Republicans and Democrats all want these 3 economic goals. The only difference is, how are we going to accomplish them? The first one is promote economic growth, meaning we want to make more products, we want to deliver more services. Second, limit unemployment. Presently, we have low unemployment. Are you going to ever have 0? No, because people are always going to be looking for better jobs. Technology is going to kind of eliminate jobs. So you're never going to have 0. And then the third, keep prices stable. Lower, keep inflation low. If, and I know nothing about politics, so I shouldn't even say this, but if I was guessing why Trump got elected, is people remembered the prices were low when he was president, compared to what the prices are now. And that's something tangible. Someone could say, I used to pay 99 cents for eggs, now I pay $2.99. I used to pay $2.50 for gas, now I'm paying $3.50.
Is that why gas dropped so much when you got elected? Like,
Gas is a crazy thing.
Yeah.
I don't think anything dropped yet. But the thing is, after COVID, things went crazy price-wise. And it's hard to roll it back because companies are used to making that money and they don't want, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
They don't.
I know people put 2 and 2 together that COVID happened and like prices were low with that.
Before COVID and.
Yeah, like they, yeah.
Why did they put 2 and 2
Yeah,
together?
like, why do they think that like Trump is?
Because people are very smart. And what Trump is very good at is messaging. So he messaged like high inflation, and Kamala Harris just, like, she didn't say. And she didn't even say like the world had high inflation, not just the United States. So the messaging was, okay. All right. And Corey, sometimes what happens is, wow, I made 20,000 a year and I used to save 2,000. Now I make 20,000 a year and I owe 1,000. And that's all I know. Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't have money. The other president, I had money. I'm not saying it's right. I'm just saying how. All right, now, the most important measure of growth is GDP. GDP is like your grade, okay? Which isn't the way we should measure you, but anyhow. Now, I would underline in the definitions what I haven't read. It's a dollar value. It's final goods and services. It's 1 year. Now, what do I mean by final goods and services? I work for GM. I buy a tire from Goodyear. That's not part of GDP, because I'm gonna put the tire on the car and I'm gonna make money and put the cost of the tire into the whole car. So the final goods and services is what you buy. So if you buy a car, is the tires part of GDP that I bought from Goodyear? No. Nico buys a tire to replace his old tire. Is that part of GDP? Yes, because it's the final product. Okay? A baker uses flour to make bread. It's not, the flour he buys is not part of GDP because it's in the cost of the bread. I go to the supermarket and buy flour, part of GDP. Okay? And we'll go more into that. All right. So the first thing you do with GDP is you compare to previous years. Like, is the country making more goods and services this year than last year? Second, did the policy changes work? Why did cutting taxes help increase GDP? Did spending more money on certain things help GDP? And then the third, comparing us to other countries with facts. And I say this sometimes, like someone will say, like Calvert Hall is better than Mount St. Joe's. I'm just picking that school. And I'll say, why? How do you know that? What? Like, we don't have facts. We have like a lot of emotions, and we think we are, but there are facts that we could use to say we are better or worse than Mount St. Joe's. I hope better. Okay, good. All right, so here are, now, why is China number one? They have the most people. So when you have a ton of people, you need a lot more clothes, a lot more food. So they gotta sell goods and services. Okay? European Union really isn't a country, it's a group of countries. And there's the United States and Japan. Okay, I don't think any surprises there. Brazil. Where would Brazil be if they allow cocaine to be part of GDP? All right, here's one of my favorite things. Brazil as a country, their GDP is the same as Texas, the state of Texas. You know, France's GDP is the same as California's GDP. Macau. By the way.
It's a gambling center.
Yeah, I was gonna say, if you want to play the highest stakes poker in the world, you go to Macau.
You lose the triads, we'll get you.
There was this lawyer who used to argue Supreme Court cases. He went to Macau and he won 7.8 million in a poker game. I know, Matt, that's not a lot of money for you, but us normal people.
Did he die the next day?
No. You know what got him? He texted people about his winnings and the IRS got him. Because he didn't report his profits. He ended up winning like 40 million.
At that point, just report it,
Yeah,
like you're still.
he's also, he's a top lawyer, like he should know, first of all, he should know better than to text things. You know what I mean? Like, that's like putting evidence in the paper, on paper, but hey.
My sister took my phone. My daughter took my phone and my phone.
Yeah. All right, year two, anytime you do percentage change, like elasticities, it's year two over year one times 100. So let's do a practice one. I'll put a practice one up here for you. I give you a minute, you can use your calculator. Ashton, what do you got here?
45%.
Okay. So, you did 5,000 minus 4,000, right? New minus old, overall, and you get 1/4 times 125. That's, all right, Nico says we have one more. All right, Nico, whatever you want. All right, my hometown of Transylvania. Corey, what do you have here? I got 5%, right? Yeah, 2,100 minus 2,000 over 2,000 is gonna get you 5%. All right, good job. Everyone good on this? Nico, how you feeling? Just good, Nico? Let's get you to great, what? All right, Nico, let's not get crazy here. We gotta move on, Nico. All right. Now, standard of living. Here's the problem with GDP. Like, the more people you have, the higher your GDP is gonna be. So to see how it is per person, we use what we call GDP per capita. And anytime you see per capita, it's divided by population. That's all that means. So GDP divided by the population. So now it's how much each individual produces. Now, obviously, that's not perfect because some individuals don't work, but it gives you an idea per person how much goods and services is. Now, the truth is, where it says GDP per capita, it really should say real GDP per capita. Because real means no inflation. So if my real GDP is up, it means I made more goods and services, where if GDP is up by itself like this, it can be just based on inflation. Okay, and we'll talk more about that. All right, notice GDP per capita, a totally different list. Nice Isle of Man. Perfect, Brad. Have you went to any of these places? Macau, you're not going to gamble? You're not in those high stakes poker play games? Oh, I think if you have a pulse, they let you gamble on that. Huh?
It's technically China.
Yeah. But if you have money. All right. Let's try to answer this, put an answer on the board. Flipping back, Ashton, to micro. Yeah, you gotta switch your brain. Sorry to wait you there. Brad, if I wanted to use a graph, which graph would I use for this? Of? Okay, so what is the monopoly of the labor market graph for? Who's gonna help them out? Ryan, you wanna help them out?
Not sure.
Oh, yes, you are. You graphed it the other day. Monopoly of labor market.
Monopsony.
Monopsony. So the monopsony graph will help. Monopolistic labor markets or monopoly of the labor markets. Monopsony. All right, give you a minute or so to try to figure this out. That's the way. Yeah. What is the appropriate compensation?
And Mr. Garrett,
Okay, so
make that
where,
one
where's it from?
supplies here,
Where is it supposed to?
here. MRP equals finance, here.
Happens where you can go from that.
Down.
Bring the wage over. So the monopoly, that's right?
Yeah.
Okay, I have a fund. That's on
More.
oh, bring the appropriate compensation down. It says appropriate compensation.
Oh, right here.
Yeah, bring it down. So who's employing the
Um, Oh, monopsony is is monopsony. Monopsony has a greater difference, right? So would it be different compensation?
yeah, they're applying more workers.
Yeah.
And who's paying higher wage?
Where?
Well, bring the wage over.
Oh,
That's
the
higher.
competition is paying more.
Allocate their answer to. So where's wage? What's this? Yes. That's the profit max. That's wage. We go all the way down. Now, what if we say perfect compensation? That's supply equals demand, right?
Yeah.
No, your wage. Both ways. Okay, so monopoly wage higher or lower? Lower. Okay, quantity of events. Monopoly get a higher moral speed. More. Oh, wait, less. Okay, now find an answer. Because E is not the answer. Right, based on what you told me?
Yeah.
I'm gonna. There's the graph. A lot of you know. Roy, where's the profit maximizer on this?
Never see.
Okay, so the marginal factor, the marginal resource are gonna equal, right? Alright, now, I gotta take it down to supply. That's my wage, that's my quantity, the blue. Who told me supply and demand was what the industry looked like? Corey, was that you? I thought, did someone tell me? Alright, the industry is just the next. So here's where supply crosses demand. So I go here. Perfect Bradley is Monopsony paying more or less wages?
Less.
Less. Nico is Monopsony hiring more? Monopsony's blue. Perfect Competition is orange. Are they hiring more or less workers?
Or less,
Which one?
less.
Less, that's the Monopsony. So, that being said, we got less and less. Ashton, did you come up with an answer here?
No. I was.
Alright. Ashton, is A right equals marginal factor resource, is that true?
Yes.
Okay. Resulting in more work, does the monopsony hire more workers? A is wrong. B equals marginal factor resource, is that true?
Yeah.
Cost resulting in less workers? At a lower wage?
Yeah.
Are we good then?
Yeah.
B is the answer, okay? I try to use your graphs to help you. Any questions on that? All right, let's go back to our regular scheduled program. Why do, hey, this is all in your notes, right? I wrote it down for you. That's true?
Yes.
All right, The United States has all five of them. We have capitalism. Now, we have political stability, right? We change leaders, but we change leaders based on elections and democracy. And even in 2008, when we had a great recession, people were still buying US bonds because they had faith that the United States would not go under.
Do you think that would happen today?
Yeah. US bonds?
People, if it was, if we were in a recession.
Yeah, because people still believe that the American system is stable. And that we wouldn't, like, we're not gonna just crumble and, you know, turn from a democracy to a dictatorship. People might be wrong, but that's a general. We have tons of capital stock, we have tons of machines, factories and stuff. Human capital, as much as someone like me might say something about American education, more foreigners come to the United States to get educated than we go to foreign countries. So it must be that foreign countries, and especially rich people from foreign countries, come here to get educated. So they must believe in our education system. And then we do have a lot of natural resources. All of those help our GDP. Now, Japan, very few natural resources, huge capital stock. All right. All right, we don't need that, but we need this one. Boards again, government must provide public goods such as national defense when. Mrs. Sykes, could you just refresh us what a public good is?
Good, everyone could use,
So it's not excludable? And,
it's non-private.
it's not rival, meaning you use it, doesn't affect me. Okay. You don't want to cite senior answer, right? Okay, but I think we have an answer. All right, I've got some broccoli. I've got some Ellen. Ellen is winning over broccoli. Basilius. Did you have Ellen?
I had broccoli.
What's wrong with Ellen, Basilius?
I guess it's kind of correct, but the reason we learned was that because you can't charge anyone, no one's gonna do it except for the government. And you can't get people to pay for it.
Okay. Do individuals help pay for public goods? I mean, do I pay for our military?
Simple answer.
But I pay taxes, right? I think Basilius makes the point, B is the right answer, because if they were trying to make it private, and like Mac was trying to fund the military private, I wouldn't pay. It's too easy to free ride, because the military would still protect me. So the answer to B is free riders, okay? All right, back here. What is not in GDP? Intermediate goods. Okay? Goods inside the final goods that don't count. That was like the radio inside the car. So when you want to know, is it a final good? It is a good the consumer's buying. Okay? The second one is tricky. Non-productive. So stocks are not part of GDP. Bonds are not part of GDP. When I say real estate, I mean, if you're selling your house and it's not brand new, not part of GDP. Transfer payments are like social security, welfare, government giving people money, but not getting a good service back for it. Used goods, not part of GDP. Why? When you sell them the first time, they are part of GDP. And then the last thing, illegal activities. So if Bradley is booking bets, that's not part of GDP because that's illegal. However, if FanDuel is booking bets, it is part of GDP. If Corey cuts the lawn for his mom, that's not part of GDP. However, if he comes over to my house and charges me money to cut the lawn, it is then part of GDP. Thank you for cutting my lawn, Corey. That was very nice. All right, guys, have a great day. I will see you tomorrow.